everyone. Welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones Cooper, and today I'm sitting down with the one and only Loretta Devine. The Emmy winner is known for her roles on Grey's Anatomy and The Carmichael Show, and today she's here to talk about her new series on Netflix called Family Reunion, where she plays Madeira, the McKellan family matriarch whose old-school ways of parenting are challenged when her son and his family move back to Georgia. Take a look.
What do you think? This says fun and friendly, Jade. But then this says sophisticated and approachable, Jade.
Which says dressed and in the car, Jade?
You know, Jade, you will look great in anything. I remember when I was tiny like you, only I was known as Big Booty Judy.
Why Judy?
Because Big Booty Amelia doesn't rhyme.
Put your hands together for Loretta Devine.
You might be the only one with that clip.
Big Booty Judy, that's fantastic. How are you doing today?
Great, so great. Oh, great to be here.
I could still hear you without the mic. I was
Oh,
like,
good.
It's good for me. I checked out the first 2 episodes of this show, and I love it. It is such, all the good sitcoms in the 90s that I grew up watching. Mm-hmm. It's how I connected to this show. Okay. And I think a lot of people are going to connect to it in that way, where it's something where they can watch with their families. There's humor for everybody, and it is so relatable. Yeah. So what made you want to be a part of Family Reunion?
I'm just so proud of it and the idea of it. It's a show that Meg Deloach, I always have trouble with that last name. It's Deloach. It's one of her dreams. She did Eve back in the day, and she worked on Family Matters as a writer. But she has, it was done by an all-black writing crew. And most of the crew is mixed different nationalities, but still a lot of female directors and everything. The kids are absolutely divine. And so I'm just so proud of it. I guess that's what I should say. I'm excited about it. Yeah.
And the whole sort of plot line is that Madeira's son and his family come down for a family reunion. Yes. They remember how good it feels to be around family, and they decide that they want to stay.
Yes.
But in that, you get these great multi-generational conflict, which is what the show is really based on.
Yes.
And that idea of old school parenting and new school parenting.
Absolutely.
So what are your views on that, just having that conflict, and especially around parenting? It's so funny.
Well, everything is so different now. You know, I grew up where you would catch a whipping if you did something bad. That was how your parents controlled you more so than anything. I think now, because of the internet, you can have the same effect with taking a telephone away. So you don't have to whip anymore.
But I love that the show talked about that, because
Exactly.
that is a part of Black life. That's
Exactly.
still for so many families. And I think in this PC climate, sometimes we don't like to talk about it, but it's a reality.
Exactly, it's a reality. And her kids, I think, are spoiled. When they come from Seattle, they think they know everything, and they are so used to having everything at their beck and call and doing whatever they want. They pick their own punishments, things that I've never even heard of, So I think it's interesting to see. I always say it's like old school meets millennium, baby boom, and Generation Z all in one place. And so many stories. The first 10 cover a lot of things, from the difference in skin colors that are in the same family all the way up to, we have Charlie Wilson is on one of the shows, and there's a little thing about, Richard Roundtree being, he's up there, he's gorgeous, isn't he? About him being a little bit jealous and those kind of things. So it covers all kind of things, and kids getting in your business and them not knowing what it's like to be down south and around a lot of people that are like them. So I think that's exciting for people to watch.
Yeah, I love that the show is able to tackle real themes in a really humorous way. I mean, that's always, I think, the best way to teach people lessons and to get conversations started. For Madeira, she is so many women I know. She is my mom, she is my aunt, she is my grandma. With you taking on this role, who did you kind of look to inspire her or this character?
Oh, God, I've played so many moms, so when I took it, I just did it. But Meg let me know that we all have a tendency to think that our parents or our mothers and our grandmothers are almost like superhuman. So once we started working and we got into doing these things, she kept adding things on top of things. Like then she had me jumping fences and playing basketballs. I could hear through walls. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. But in truth, that's sort of like what we feel. You know, I threw a shoe and it boomeranged back and I caught it. It's like you go, uh-oh, okay. But, you know, she had to explain to me why this woman could do all these things. And it was simply that's the way we feel about our parents a lot of time when we're the age that the kids are in this show.
That is true. Our moms are superheroes, though, in so many ways. I know that they are real women but like, I look at Madeira and I'm like, she's holding everybody down, and she knows it. And that means maybe sometimes she can't make the pie homemade, and that's okay.
Well, at least she lets you know that they can fib a little bit, right, to get their point across, yes.
And you mentioned that the writer's room is comprised of all Black writers, which I was really excited to hear, and that's a rarity. Have you worked on a show where that's been the case?
Well, this is something new that's happening since in the last maybe since Shonda Rhimes hit the scene, I think. Diversity, and since Black Panther, and since a whole lot of the things that have been successful lately, I think the industry is starting to realize this is something that we need to try it and see. After the Carmichael Show, which was very successful, which was created by a young man out of North Carolina that was in his 20s, this was his view of his family. They decided to start doing things where there was a truth about it that comes from the people that have lived it. And so it's interesting because it still turns out to be very close to the same story because we all are so incredibly alike without even knowing it. I think any race that watched this show would say, oh, God, that's my mom. Oh, that's my sister. That's my brother. So it all comes out to be the same in the end. So, but you have to try it to see and to learn it. So, but it makes such a difference for us more than anything.
Yeah, and I think it also just sheds light on how different the Black experience can be for all of us, based on where we were raised, where our parents were raised. I mean, I think a lot of people like to think the Black community is this one unit, but really, I think when you have different Black writers, you can get different experiences and shows how diverse it is.
Exactly. And also, we were very fortunate because we were able to have some input into some of the things that were happening to us. It was a difficult show to do. We had 2 stages, and we had a live audience, but we would film sometimes more than 1 day a week. We would film 2 or 3 days a week and then have a live audience for some of the days because some of the scenes were so big. The Richard Roundtree plays a pastor of a Baptist church. So I'm the first lady. There were all these church scenes where there was a choir and people in the church. And then when we had the reunion, that was over 100 people. So it's not the normal sitcom that you would see with 6 or 7 people that come over and over, and it isn't that big. And so people were working around the clock. And I have to say that the construction crew was all races because they were building sets and creating scenery all the time. And so a lot of work was put into it. We created this family unit. We worked from April to October. We did 20 at one time, and it's on Netflix, and we want everyone to love it because we're so proud of it, and we think it will make people proud of themselves because I think they'll be able to identify with the love that surrounds them, and they can talk to each other about, oh, God, that's so much like us. Let's do more of this. Let's have another family reunion. Let's go look through Grandma's stuff and see who she really is, stuff like that. So
I love that. Yeah, good. I do think a lot of people will find different points of connection.
That's good.
For you mentioned the live studio audience.
Yes.
And you have performed on many different mediums and platforms. But what is it like performing in front of a live audience like that? Does that change the humor or the delivery?
Well, I think the live studio audience is given to you so you will know what jokes are working and which jokes are not. So I don't know if everyone knows, but when you do a sitcom, you have to be really quick because like you do a film and the language never changes. Whatever they wrote, that's what you're going to be seeing on the screen. So when you get your script and you learn it, that's the script. But in sitcoms, they change the script immediately. If they wrote a joke and the laughter isn't working, if the audience doesn't go up on it, they rewrite it, and then you have to quick learn it. And sometimes they don't even write it on paper. She'll come over and go, oh, say, you look funny. The line may have been, well, you look fabulous for this thing. And they go, change it to, your mama think you look like a sock. And stick it in your ear. And you go, okay, your mama think you, no, don't hold out there and say, stick it. Okay. And then they try that. and then they film it all, and when they get into editing, they can decide which part they use. And so the babies, they had like a boot camp before we started to get them in line so they would know what it meant to be facing the camera, how to stand, how to wait, because in sitcoms you have to wait. You have to wait until the audience finishes laughing, or else they'll miss the next line. So it's like a little different, just a little different from doing film or single cam. Single cam is a lot like film. You just do it, and there's no audience, and that kind of thing. So anyway.
No, I love that, and I love that they had the boot camp for the kids.
Yeah, they had the boot
you
camp to
are
get
like
them ready.
at this point, you're like, I could do this, but for them, it must be a real learning curve.
And they're excited and they're scared and all that, and they don't need to be. These kids were incredible because they sing, dance. Jordan, she writes poetry. Talia, excuse me, she sings opera. Incredible Karate Kid, sings, dances, everything. Oh, water. Thank you. Excuse me.
They all sing. You obviously are an amazing, talented singer. Did you guys ever sing on set together or during downtime?
Oh my God. We had to sing because there's a couple of okay. Jackie Harry plays my sister later in the second 10. Thelma Hopkins plays my sister. So we're from an old singing group. So there's lots of singing that we do. There's singing in the church, and the same theme song for the show. We all sung that.
You doing all right?
Sure, I don't know. Something caught in my throat.
I hate when that happens. Usually it's
Okay, but the theme song, I want you to meet my family. They're coming down south to stay with me, singing loud and having fun. It's the family reunion. So, so that's the theme song. If you play all 10, if you binge all 10, you only hear it once. So if you play it and then turn it back off, turn it back on, you'll hear it for every show.
You mentioned Thelma and Jackie, who, I mean, talk about iconic, right? What was it like being on set with those women? Are there any fun stories that happened?
I had never worked with Thelma. She always would take every job I auditioned for. So when they asked me for ideas for people who I would like to play my sister, she was one of the names I gave because I always wanted to spend time with her. You know how you see people at benefits and a lot of other things, and we really didn't know each other. It turns out we live in the same neighborhood. I admired her work I had admired her work for so long because I've always liked the stuff she was doing. So it's just been great, her playing my sister, and I hope that if they pick it up that she's on even more because she has such a special quality, and she's the real deal. I mean, she was singing back in the day when we were all going, oh my God, look at her. So that was great. Jackie I've known from New York. We were back in New York together. We did a couple of Broadway shows, maybe one or two that didn't go anywhere together. We live some of the same experiences, so it was always great for me to be around Jackie because she brings back all those warm memories, and she's so fabulous. I mean, no one can do Jackie but Jackie. Yes, honey.
You mentioned memories, and I was looking at your Instagram recently, and you posted an ebony cover, a Dreamgirls. I have a picture because I was just so taken by it, and you. I mean, come on.
I didn't even know I was cute.
This photo, I just couldn't stop looking at it.
Oh, my God.
So what made you want to post it? Where did you find the cover? What was just your feelings when you look back at it?
It's amazing. Sometimes people out in the world, they post things and I steal it off of their websites because I don't even have some of the pictures that you end up seeing that are coming up on Instagrams and stuff. So, but this was I think my mother has kept a copy of this in her house. So I'd seen this, so it wasn't like a shocker like some of the new pictures that are coming up. But I was so proud because they were pushing for that space, and I look real comfortable in the whole space.
And the purple really is a scene stealer.
Yes. So it was great. It was a great time for me.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up just because when I look at your career, you have more theater and movie and TV credits than I can count. And so at this point in your career, what is it that keeps you motivated? Is there a role that you haven't had a chance to take on, or is there something that or are you just really enjoying the work?
Okay, when I was younger and first started, my dream was to do romantic comedies and stuff. You know, where you had the love scenes. Or I wanted to play what they used to call the dumb blonde. I was going to be the dumb black girl, and and the smart one would come, and that kind of thing. But those kind of things never happened then. But it's amazing that they're happening now. When I was in college, somebody said, "Well, you'll be a late bloomer," which means I guess you can keep going. So I really have a passion for it. I'm so excited when I get a new script. That means I could get to create something different. And now with these new young writers, everything is like such a challenge. I just did something on Black Girl Sketch, and oh my God, you go, oh, Issa Rae and Robin
Thede?
It's like, where are they coming up with this stuff, And so it's just so ingenious, and they're not afraid, and they're bold, and they're putting all kinds of stories out there. So it's so exciting. And I feel so blessed to be working because, but there's everything you can do now. I mean, there's all kinds of channels. You got the Netflix, the Hulu, the Voodoo, the BET Plus is coming, you name it. I mean, so a lot of people that haven't got a chance to work in a long time, you're going to be seeing old faces and new faces. And I'm just counting on these young people to write their grandmamas and their mamas up in there.
Something tells me you are at the top of the list.
Okay.
I mean, you have been hasn't she been in like everything I've ever loved and watched? So.
Well, a lot of the stuff I've done, they're independent films, or they start out independent, like Dirty Laundry. That was an independent film, but you're trying to help somebody else get their dream off, and you don't realize that it adds to what is happening for you. So I work a lot because you're doing a lot of freebies. You're doing a lot of, when I get big, I'm gonna remember. They never remember when you do. So you just what God sends me, I usually go, thank you, Jesus, and go ahead from there.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's probably why people have enjoyed working with you all these years, why we continue to see you in a lot of our favorite projects. You mentioned the Black Lady sketch show with Robin Thede. I looked at that trailer, and I mean, everybody is in that. What was that experience like?
Oh, well, everybody's like do a little camo, and they're really short. They were little shorts. But when she fell down that mountain, I was on the floor when I saw that trailer because that's the way the sketches are. They're really unbelievably funny. So I think people are going to be pleased, or either they're going to be angry. We go either one way or the other. So what can you do?
Yeah, you mentioned this new wave of kind of Black Hollywood with these different writers. What does that feel like for you to see as somebody who's been in the industry where Black female writers and producers and directors are getting a real chance to step up and shine?
I don't know. Everything comes like a seasonal kind of thing. We go through, if you look at the music that we listen to, everybody gets excited by a certain sound. Oh, yeah, okay. And so it's a time for strippers. It's a time for all kind of stuff that we never thought, people were going to be excited about. And Duvernay, she brought a whole nother flavor to the table after she started introducing things like Greenleaf. And once Oprah got on, and Tyler Perry with all of the things he created, and he's made a whole new life for Black people in Atlanta because there's those huge studios that he's created. So all these new doors are opening. Don Glover, and they come from nowhere. Gerard Carmichael, North Carolina. The young people are coming from all over the world with these ideas, and they figure out a way to get in. And when we weren't able to get in when we first came, those kind of things, if you were an actress, that's all you could be. They wouldn't let you write. They wouldn't let you direct, And it wasn't just because you were Black. It was because you were also a woman. There were all these things that now those doors have been kicked down, and people are coming in and saying, now look at what I'm going to do. See, now you know. And so that's the new way. And it's great. I'm just excited about it, and I want to see what's going to happen.
And for you, is there a role that you are most approached for? Because, like I said, you've been in so many things, but what do you still get the most like, oh, I know you from this?
People come up to me. They have very strong opinions about jumping the broom because I was a mean mother in that, or they thought I was mean. I thought I was very nice. I love my son greatly. That was all. People come up to you, waiting to exhale, of course. This Christmas, Grey's Anatomy. People like the Dale, and
His wife, yeah.
yeah, and I got an Emmy for that, so I was very excited. It's amazing though. There are only 75 movies that have Oscars, and I was lucky enough to be in one, Crash. And I didn't realize, but a fan came up to me and told me that, and I was like, "Oh right, that's right. I should be proud of that." So, God, I could just name Preacher's Wife, getting to work with Whitney, a second time, and Jennifer Lewis is. I'm always excited when I get to work for her. Jackie's back. This is their 20th anniversary. It's just been amazing. Angela Bassett. She's doing so well, and you just excited. So all the movies and everything is everyone that you know, and then you wake up the next morning and it's like, who, Lupita, who? And it's a whole new day. Everything, so a new generation comes in. And sometimes you wish you could get to talk to all of the new people to tell them, really enjoy it, and really, because it goes so fast. And then a new thing comes in, because that's the way life is. Everything circles and circles. And the little girl that's watching you is going to be doing you and even better, because that's the way it should be, Yeah.
Well, I know you have probably inspired so many of the creators we have now, because you've inspired all of us. So
I hope
you
so.
definitely have played a role in that and what we're experiencing now. We do have some questions before we go. Be nice, guys. We have 4. Here we go.
What you want to know?
Well, I do want to say long time no see, and you're very beautiful.
Oh,
For real.
thank you.
Yeah, don't get
Oh,
off.
I'm so glad you said long time no see. I got nervous, and then I said, no,
No. Well, you kind of answered my question, but so I'm gonna ask another question. How did it feel when you got your first big break? That is.
I keep waiting for it. Oh, God. When you're in it, it's so funny because you work so. I think it felt like a big break when I got the Emmy for Grey's Anatomy, but then they fired me right after that, and I couldn't figure out to save my life to this day what I did or why it happened. It just went that way, but that was so exciting. But that's when you find out that all they're serving on the inside is In-N-Out burgers. I mean, you find out that it looks really, it's almost like The Wiz. For real. I mean, all that glamour that it looks in the gowns and everything, they go in, and it's just In-N-Out burgers and some Cokes and stuff back there. You be like, what? So it's incredibly exciting. It's like a thing that I think there's nothing that you can do that is exciting as that moment, and you can't relive it again. I guess that's why I keep trying to say you got to really enjoy it, because it's a set thing that's repetitive, just like getting up every morning. It's a job, so it has a formula to it that's no different from if you were working at a post office, in honesty. Some people get higher up, they get a chance to experience bigger things, but whether it's the Oscars or the SAG Awards or something else, it's still In-N-Out burgers or hamburgers and some hot dogs in the bag that everybody, they're in their gowns and they may end up eating that. Some things are more gorgeous, but basically that's what it is.
You got to do the work that feels good to you, right?
Yeah.
Next question.
How you doing today, Miss Devine?
I'm fine.
I've been watching you since I was 7 years old on my first movie, Waiting to Exhale, with my moms.
Okay.
I know you work with a lot of people, but I gotta ask you this. Out of all the films and TV shows you've done, what was your favorite one, and who do you like working with?
Oh, my God.
You remember all the TV shows you've been on?
I
No.
can't. Some people come up, I don't know what they talk about. And they always say, they'll say a line and think I should remember it. I don't remember what I did yesterday. Oh, my God. You remember the people that are gone. When I think of Whitney Houston, it just, I hear her voice sometimes, and you can't believe that that's not just here for you to be taken advantage of, take advantage of and enjoy. So you miss all that. So Waiting to Exhale changed my life. So it is one of my favorite movies because I got offered Hoodlums by Bill Duke after that, and I didn't have to audition because that was I think that's the hardest part of the business, going through the no's. No, we don't want you. And then as an actor, when you get a no, you have to watch whoever they said yes to, and then if whatever it is becomes huge, you have to watch them get rich, and you still auditioning. You go like, and that happens all the time, and you have to get up, pull yourself up real quick, give yourself 30 minutes to be sad, and then keep on going. So I would say Waiting to Exhale was one of my favorite movies, and because it changed my life dramatically.
One of our favorite movies, too. Next question.
Hi, Ms. Devine. Urban Legend is such a fun movie, and you just pack a punch in it, and especially the sequel. I just wanted to know if you would go back to doing horror films in the near future.
Oh, God. I don't turn down stuff often, but I have been offered some horror films. I said, no. I cannot do that because they're too scary and too. When I look at a movie, sometimes instead of seeing the movie, I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, what did they pay her to do that? Because it looks so hard, or it looked like I saw that movie Crawl. I don't want to advertise for Crawl, but it was a good movie. I was like, but I kept going, oh, my God. And I know they don't pay you special for what you're doing, but it just looks so hard, swimming down there with the crocodiles under the water and going in the mud. And I kept saying, I wonder, is the water warm? I wonder, is it cold? No, go back, concentrate on the movie. So I don't even remember what you asked me.
Would you do any more horror? She got triggered, guys. She got triggered. Would you do any more horror films?
Oh, yes, I would probably do a horror. Those horror films were fun. And when they did the TV version with Niecy Nash. I was so jealous. I said, look at her. So, yeah, I would. I'd do it again.
I feel like a nice Jordan Peele horror film would be a good fit for you, right?
Oh, I would love to do that.
I feel like, because they don't make you do too much, but they're like thinkers.
Oh, Lord, I still try to figure out them rabbits in his last one.
What,
Do you understand about them rabbits? Oh, no.
We'll
Who was feeding them? Okay, anyway.
I didn't even think about that. I was just like, why were they significant? But I didn't even think about feeding and upkeep.
Yeah, who keeping up them rabbits? And that place must have smelled like, see, I'm thinking the wrong thing when I go to the movies. I think about all that. Okay, so who else has a question like a lady? All these been men with the mics.
We have one more question right here.
Oh, fine.
Lady in the front row.
Don't wipe me out, sister.
Yeah. So I love every role that you do because you bring your characters to life, and you're just phenomenal. So I appreciate that. One of my favorite shows that you've done was the PJs. So I was wondering, would you ever do something like that again? Because that's a classic.
Oh, well, I'm Halle the Hippo on Doc McStuffin, so your baby may know me from that. Doc McStuffin, time for your checkup? Okay, so I've been doing it on Disney for like a couple of years, but they haven't written anything yet because I just went up for someone that's trying to do something similar. So everybody's trying to recapture that, and it's amazing that we're the reason the PJs didn't work because I think some organization said that it was wrong for it to be throwing black people in the trash can, some old stupid stuff. And it knocked all those people out of work. And I don't think people realize when you go up against a show, just because you don't like it, you're knocking people out of work. Because if they end the show, then it's hundreds of people that lose the position they finally gotten into. So when that went off the air, I was like, oh, God. Yeah. Thank you. You're beautiful.
Well, like she mentioned, you do bring every role that you take on to life, including Madea in Family Reunion. Like I said, she is so many women that I know and love and relate to, and it's so fun to watch these family dynamics play out. And I can't wait to see all the episodes that you guys have coming down the pipe. If you guys want to check out Family Reunion, it is streaming now on Netflix. Put your hands together for Loretta Devine.
Nice meeting all of you.